Welcome to the That Don't Fit podcast, a podcast where we're dedicated to talking about life and life's real issues that cross racial and generational lines. My name is Jared Torrance, and I'm here with my co-host, Andy Farmer. We're friends, we're pastors, we're wanting to help people talk and process life in a crazy world. Welcome to the conversation.
Hey, it's great to be back. Another episode. That Don't Fit. Today we have a guest.
A special guest.
A special guest.
The specialist of guests.
That's right.
Wait, hold on. All of our guests have been really special.
That's right.
This is the most special guest for today.
That's right. This is today's special guest. So, no, Eric McAllister, man, it's great to have you. Yeah.
Good to be here.
It's great to have you on the show. As you know, what we do on this show when we have guests is we ask you a series of awkward questions.
Oh.
Yes.
And then the goal is to try to get you to say something you've never told anybody else before.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So, you good with that?
I keep at least 7 of those handy, and I share at least 3 of them before breakfast.
Good. Yeah, and then we'll edit out the things that aren't appropriate. So,
So you're safe. Anything is fair game.
yeah,
Okay.
We'll help you out
that's
on
what we'll
the.
do. No, actually, I'm going to turn it over to JT. We want you to introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure.
And then and JT's just going to talk with you about stuff that you guys have been talking about.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so let's do that.
Talking like the talking.
Yeah. So tell us about
Sure.
yourself.
So my name's Eric McAllister. I am originally from the D.C. area, so grew up in Maryland my whole life. Went to high school in D.C., went to church in D.C. My parents told me about Jesus. I learned about Jesus from Sunday school teachers and good gospel songs. And I would say I thought I was a believer. Thought I was walking with the Lord, made a profession at a young age, but I would say that it was toward the end of college that was just made abundantly clear. And through just some faithful friends that pointed me to Jesus, put some sermons that to me sounded like lectures in front of me. And just the Lord just turned the lights on. And that was like 2007. Been walking with him since. Met my wife, Monielle, who is originally from DC, like actually from DC. I say DC area versus DC.
You're burbs.
Like,
You're burbs.
Yeah.
City.
Like
Yeah.
on the line, but then
yeah,
very
yeah.
burbs. But then I did like work and like go to school. It's not the same.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts.
Come on.
So like
That alone right there.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Come on.
They dropped that.
Yeah.
it's
Duke
gives me a
Ellington.
little bit of DC street cred, just a
Yeah.
tad, just a tiny bit. And let me think, what else?
You met Mo, yeah.
met my wife. I actually met her in Philadelphia.
Come on.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I ended up at Covenant Life Church in Gaithersburg. We sang those songs the way we sing the songs, and I heard about this church called Epiphany in Philly, and I'm like,
okay.
people are like, they're also singing the songs, but not the way you sing the songs. And so
Yes.
I visited again, and on a Sunday morning after church, met my wife in the lobby with an I Heart DC t-shirt on.
Oh, okay.
That was basically like easy,
It's an
just like
icebreaker.
condo starter.
Yeah,
right,
it's right there.
Thank you, Lord.
The
Just
Lord
like
gave
put
you
a
a-
target right on her.
Yeah.
Underhand
right
pin.
in.
She just kind
Oh
of
yeah. Just so yeah, we met summer of 2010 and started dating into that year. Got married a year later. We've now been married 10 and a half years.
Come
This
on.
June will make 11.
So she was at Epiphany?
She was there for a
Okay.
bit, and you know, when we got married, she moved back to Maryland, which is
She actually moved
I'm-
with you. That's good.
yeah, that's a good thing. Well, actually, she moved back before we got engaged. But
Oh,
yes,
there we go.
yes,
I was
yes,
like,
yes,
wait,
yes.
hold on. This was very confusing.
Right.
So wait,
we see each other
so-
3 times a year now.
So were you living in Maryland and then traveling to Epiphany?
Yeah. So again, we were talking a bit before about how my kids are road tested.
Yeah.
I visited, like went up, some friends of mine and I went up for a conference and then did the same thing for a concert, stayed with some friends there and went to church the next morning, grabbed cheesesteaks after church.
Come on.
And like,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm hearing them sing The Power of the Cross, and
Yes.
I'm hearing them sing, I'm trying to think, what else? I Come by the Blood.
Yes.
Like,
And so real quick,
deep
before you
cuts.
keep going,
Yeah.
Epiphany Fellowship in Philadelphia, our lead pastor, Eric Mason, very solid dude, great preacher,
Yeah.
getting things done.
Yeah.
And he's just been faithful for so many decades. It's got to be at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, he's helped me a lot, not personally, but just through his broader ministry. I've been really helped by him. So shout out Eric Mason.
Absolutely. And then hearing songs that Shai Lynn had written that like these modern hymns, and I'm like, I knew Shai, knew his music through like the Atonement and like listening to different like the 116 13 Letters album. And then I'm there and I'm like, who wrote this? Who wrote this song? Be exalted, you alone are God, our treasure is Christ.
Yes.
And it's like, it's hymnody, it's like the theology that you've come to expect from Shai Lynn, but it's got just this like jazzy kind of soulful, just fly like jacket on. And
for those who are only listening via audio, you may need to check out the video because Eric's shoulder movements describe fully.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
more fully what he
He's
is.
embodying Shai right now.
It's like, oh man. Yeah. It's a body roll. Yeah. Maybe two.
Good, man. Okay, so keep going.
So I have been singing my entire life, grew up in choirs from about the time I was 4 all the way through.
Can I pause you, Mr. Humble? He is on a Shai Lynn album, by the way. Eric McAllister is. If y'all have heard, which one is it? Nothing But the Blood?
Yep, that's the one.
Those sweet, lovely honeydew vocals you hear. That is this man right here. Okay, continue.
Okay. My wife, though, she's the cool one. She's on 2. At least Shai songs.
This is what we describe as a power couple.
Maybe we should have her on.
Right. You picked the wrong one.
The wrong.
The weak link.
Yeah, I'm like the backup. So
you're singing?
Singing my whole life. Studied classical voice in college. Directed the gospel choir in college.
This makes
sense. Did not know what the gospel was all about though. But the Lord helped that out.
Wow.
The Lord and His kindness. Yeah. So, directing the gospel choir. Started writing songs. I want to say into high school. Didn't know what it was about. Borrowing lines and phrases, and you throw out the first 900 anyway, so you all will never hear those. Never. No. So got to Cov Life, started helping with the music team, started leading a bit, got to know Bob Coughlin, and got my hey Bobby K. Cutting my teeth and just kind of figuring out how do I like distill all this theology that's new to me, listening to Piper and reading Spurgeon and reading all these Puritan paperbacks and the whole nine, and like not have it sound like super clunky, as is the case with a theo like noob. Like,
a lot of big words.
Here. Yeah. It's like rhymes?
Not a lot of natural rhymes.
What rhymes with propitiation? Yeah.
Wait,
well, actually, we just did it. Hey, come on. It's a writer's retreat right now, right here.
Write the song.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's workshop that.
Yeah. We are family. Nothing rhymes with family. Yeah. So, let's see. What else? We were there until end of 15, moved to Philly in beginning of 16 to be part of a church plant with Brian Davis.
Shout out Brian Davis.
Dear brother who is now in Minneapolis, about to plant. Pray for them. The brother's doing it. The Lord is doing it. That's who's doing it. He's doing a new thing. So Brian Davis and Shai Lynn. And what was sweet about that was like kind of this process of leading music, writing music, getting to partner and connect with others, just hit a sweet spot of just the musical instincts that the Lord has given me over the years, training, discipling, getting to really just kind of spread its wings out and figure out what are we doing and kind of find a flavor that, just fit our context.
Yeah.
So we're taking old hymns and new hymns and singing them in fresh ways, but we're also making new songs. Thinking through like, okay, how do we support the preached word through the songs that we're singing and getting to, just kind of figure that out together and find our own localized cookbook. So
that's beautiful. That's great. How many years were we at Risen Christ?
We were there 5 years, from January of 16 till December 2020. Okay. So that time was a sweet time in so many ways. We were so well cared for, so well pastored and encouraged in our time there, and just set some sweet rhythms for our family. It was also a nice, sweet break from full-time ministry, but not from ministry.
Sure. Yeah.
So doing the whole weekend warrior music leader guy thing. While we were there and worked in retirement finance.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, where'd that even come from? That was not
very important for a guy like me.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. So the Lord used that, put food on the table. I want to say like 2019, I was even in a spot where it's like, okay, Lord, if you'd have us here for like the next decade or two, like, and this is what I'm doing, I'm feeling this, the just kind of shape of our lives at the time. Do I go back for an MBA and like try to be as competitive and just kind of dig my feet in and sink my teeth into finance thing? Enjoyed it, was learning a lot, and then 2020 hits, and I think for a lot of people was kind of like reset button, rethink, like it's like
what are we doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah,
where you gonna be?
And when you were at Cove Life, you were full time.
I was full time.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
started out as a little wobbly intern.
Yes, yeah.
And then eventually was serving full time as a director of music there.
Wow. Okay.
And then let's see, fast forward, summer of 2020, because of just everything COVID and our cute little building, nothing else going on in it. Yeah. So they let me set up my little work from home situation in our former little baby nursery. It's a little baby nursery, I promise. And so I'd see Brian and see our pastors just throughout the week. And Brian was like, are you feeling some sprinkles? Like, this was around the time, I think, of the Sing conference.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was like, are you feeling some sprinkles? Like, toward like getting back into music ministry full time? And I was like, maybe. And he was like, I'm going to send an email. I think you all would do well to get back into full-time music ministry and be able to do what the Lord has gifted you to do in a more substantial way again in a healthy, faithful church. And so he sends that email, which is like huge and humble of him, because he had become not only just fantastic pastor, but like wonderful friend as well. Sure, one of my best, still is. And so connected us with Juan Sanchez at High Point Baptist. We're FaceTiming with him one weekend, and then my wife and I are visiting a month later, and then about 2 months after that, we had gotten a taste and a whiff, and it was like, Lord, like, okay.
Wow.
So December 2020, we moved to Austin, Texas.
Wow.
With
and how many children you got?
3 children.
Yes.
Yeah. So they are now 9, 7, and 4.5. Ellington, Keziah, and August Xavier. They are a delight, and like I said, they are our road dogs.
Yeah.
It's like we're in the car, like get some snacks. Everybody use the bathroom. We hit the road. And then 30 minutes later, grab some more snacks.
Yes.
Hit the cleanest bathroom we can find.
How many car seats are you using right now?
What's that?
How many car seats are you using right now?
We're kind of roughing it out here in these streets. We're down to one.
Yeah.
We're down to one.
Then if you get liberated from the car seats, man.
That
Yeah, it makes a world of difference.
It changes
makes a
your
world
life,
of
man.
difference. So you can shove them all into a tiny
Yeah, and they
Honda
get in there by
Civic.
themselves. You
Yeah.
just say, get in the back.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
time we're close, we
Right.
have another kid.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Soon. Soon.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Soon.
I felt-
Soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt such freedom when my kids got out of that seat. I was like,
Oh man.
I'm an adult again.
Oh goodness.
Somebody have to check and see if they're in the back, though. That's the problem.
yeah.
You forget that.
Oh gosh. It's real. It's real.
So December 2020.
December 2020, 3 kids, our little hopes and dreams, hopped on a plane. Plane tickets were real cheap too. Because we flew out like middle of December.
Yes.
So it wasn't Thanksgiving, it wasn't Christmas, and they kept their masks on so I can still fly.
Yeah.
Thank God. And we were eating fish tacos on our driveway and on Christmas Day.
Whoa.
Which was like,
Wow.
Lord, what is this? So
Yes.
so it's a neat place. Come visit. Come. We'll
Yes.
have tacos. We'll eat
man.
barbecue.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll eat barbecue tacos.
I am all of those things.
Come
I
on.
could live on Mexican and barbecue, man. I could just,
Yeah. Yeah.
just do it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on out.
Guess I'm moving to Texas.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
End of the episode because we're moving to Texas.
Right. Right.
Packing my
I
bags.
ain't rooting for the Cowboys, though. I ain't doing that.
Oh,
yeah, I
goodness.
know.
No. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. No. Austin is an interesting place because it's not Dallas.
It's not Dallas, yeah.
So you have some
Yeah.
you've got
Leeway?
lots of transplants.
Yeah, a lot of
though.
people
So
go
like
for
you
other
look
places.
out
Yeah.
in a sea of like jerseys and you
Yeah.
just it's like Green Bay Packers really like from
Oh.
where?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that kind of thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
I'm convinced.
It's college town.
I'm convinced.
Yes. Aggies versus UT. That is a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a big thing there. Yeah. So 3 kids, wife. We are now currently in Austin, Texas. The Lord's been kind to us there. It's been a just sweet season of, like, okay, Lord, what are we doing with this time? And
Mm-hmm.
and so
That's Eric McAllister.
Yeah.
So,
in a nutshell.
with your songwriting, there's we were talking a little bit about this upstairs, but it's not like you're just writing songs because you enjoy writing or as it's like a personal kind of thing you're doing. You specifically write songs for the church, right?
Sure.
So tell me about that. Tell me about Sunday morning songs. Go ahead and tell me about how that got started. And you can even get into a little bit of the taste and sing nights and how that's been going.
Yeah. So absolutely. So I grew up in a church that had an interesting blend. So being in DC, we're singing gospel songs, but we're also
When you say gospel songs in that context, what do
Sure.
you mean?
I'm talking about, so like, I guess if you look on like a Wikipedia entry,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what people would call black gospel.
Yeah.
or-
Yes.
In my mind, it's like it's the only gospel music.
Yeah,
Technically,
sure.
it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got like the blue polyester ruffles and like
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of country gospel tradition.
Right.
That's
Sure,
a
I know.
thing.
I know. Yeah.
But yes, so Fred Hammond, Andre Crouch, Mahalia
Okay.
Jackson,
Yes,
the
yeah.
Clark sisters,
Mhm.
the
Gotcha.
Winans, the the Hawkinses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
So
growing
not
up with
not
that-
necessarily traditional black gospel, Dorsey.
some
and-
of.
some of.
Oh
okay,
sure.
yeah.
Sure,
Okay, yeah.
sure. Some of that sprinkled in.
Yep, yep.
But a lot of contemporary gospel as well
Yeah.
as just across centuries really.
Yeah.
So even being exposed to Negro spirituals,
yeah.
being exposed as well though to, I think what you'll find in lots of black churches, you'll hear them singing "I Will Call Upon the Lord," which is like, it's like in that like kind of set of 1970s, 1980s
Yeah.
kind of choruses, Maranatha and the like, and all of that. And so, it's like but in a very different way. It's
Sure,
like
yeah.
in a very specific kind of just way that fits the flavor of those churches, as well as some like anthems. It's like these like word kind of like they've got the orchestral parts and the choral parts. So that's what I grew up with, some hymns here and there. And I credit that in a lot of ways with just like depositing this pretty broad array of even within those genres, just kind of cross-cultural, just musical recipes, if you will.
Yeah.
So you listen, for instance, to like Richard Smallwood, you are going to get like nods and hints of Rachmaninoff, along with all of the jazzy and traditional gospel inflections, and just all of that being just kind of under the hood.
Yeah.
So just fast forward with that being what I grew up with, singing those songs like week after week, singing those songs in the car with my family, singing those songs at family gatherings, hearing my parents sing those songs in just like times of crying out to the Lord and expressing trust in Him. That is what I grew up with. And so that sound is just kind of woven into just so many moments of my life, so much of my kind of everyday.
Yeah, can I pause you real quick? So here, let's timestamp this part right here. Because of some of the artists you just listed, we should link in the show notes so that our listeners can experience what he's talking about. All right, keep going.
Sure. Absolutely. No, good stuff. Come on. It's like teach them well and let them lead the way. Yeah. And so as I got to Covenant Life, got introduced to Sovereign Grace music, to the Gettys, to Indelible Grace, Sojourn music, and hearing this like kind of, in some instances, modern hymnody, but particularly this way of capturing and communicating with clarity what we cherish and what we believe, the gospel being at the heart of it all, the person and work of Christ being at the center of it all, and just knowing the power of song. Just it's like I'll never forget being in college, going to sing at a nursing home, and whatever it was about what we were singing, there was an older woman there who, I don't know if she had Alzheimer's, dementia, but for whatever reason, either before we'd start a song or every time we'd sing a song, after she would just quote and say out loud, "Oh God, I help in ages past. I help in time to come, a shelter from a stormy blast, and our eternal home." I mean, that was the cadence. I'll never forget that. So just knowing like these songs that stuck with me as I had questions about the faith I grew up with and was just wrestling with all of these different categories and digging through scripture. These songs were part of the soundtrack of that journey. And so recognizing that the songs that we sing aren't just merely another vehicle for information, but they shape us. They are part of how we are built up in Christ, how we are rooted and grounded in His love. It's like I want to find a way to bring kind of these two worlds together that I've lived in, and even hopefully encourage others to do the same. I'm grateful, of course, for different ministries and artists who have created resources for local churches, but even again, especially at Risen Christ Fellowship, seeing just the blessing of being able to do that in real time. There is a way that you're going to be able to, even if you only sing it a couple Sundays, even if it is strictly within the walls of your church, even if you send it as a voice memo to a friend, there's going to be a way that you are going to be able to respond to the preached word,
Mm-hmm.
the lived out word in the life of your church, and encourage and build up your fellow saints.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I was saying, like from the beginning, God's created us to be a singing people. Like
Surely.
He has designed it so much
Absolutely.
that, in such a specific way, that one way He allows us to engage with Him and He delights in that is through singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And He's, the God
Absolutely.
over our emotions, God over our affections, and that. And when we use our emotions and our affections to sing to God, we're doing what we were created to do, and we're glorifying Him in a specific way that songs were created for. Like songs
Absolutely.
exist to praise God's name.
Absolutely.
And He is a singing God. And so
Sure.
what you're describing is all these different categories of, because God also made us to be many different types of people groups, right? So we got different people groups that all have these different cultures that are going to create these different types of songs. And
Surely.
so like God, like you were just piling up just different categories of how we can glorify God.
Absolutely.
Glorify Him
Absolutely.
in this people group, creating these types of songs, doing this kind of thing.
Surely.
And then this
Surely.
type of group over here doing the same thing, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
and this.
Oh, yeah.
And then guess what? God's like, I'm gonna get even more glory and have these people in these different people groups singing
Absolutely.
other people
Yeah,
groups songs because
Absolutely.
they're all singing to the Lamb who was slain.
Amen.
And so
Amen.
that's
Come
like
on.
there's just a lot.
We can go home on that. You just
Yeah.
preached us right on out of here.
That's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to
Yes.
land the plane here.
Yes.
We're going to take a, and then we're going to turn this into 2 episodes.
Part 2,
Okay.
baby.
Yeah. So that
Oh,
way you
my.
can jump into it. So we are going to pause right now.
Yes.
We're going to return for another episode. We're going to dig into this a little deeper.
Yes.
So Eric, thanks, man. Be ready.
Okay.
Let's go take a coffee break.
See you later.
Yeah.